This is day 2 of our series, that's a Learn SQL Server in a 60 days. Today we'll see some basic concept with respect to the SQL Server. That's how to start SSMS, how to connect to respect to server, what are the different authentication mode, and how to find the server name. Also, what are the different service engine we have in SQL Server. I'm going to explain each and everything today, so please watch full video for more detail. So today I'm going to cover following points. The first point is how to open SSMS. Just press Windows plus R. So you will see run pop up, and there you just need to type SSMS. This is a shortcut to open the SSMS. That's a SQL Server Management Studio. So just click on OK. You will prompt to the Management Studio. When you will be connected to the SQL Server Management Studio, that time this connect to server pop-up will come. This is very important pop-up to understand. It has very simple options, but these are very powerful options. Okay, so first of all I will talk about the server name. So what is server name? This is the name which I have given at the time of installation to the server. I can access the server by this name. Even we can configure it with the IP. I will show it in later video. Now just focus on how I can access my server. So I can access my server by the server names, and you may have a question, how can I get to know what is the name of my server? So for that you just need to click on this drop down and browse for more. Here you will see different options. Just click on the database engine. There you will see the name of your server. Just click on OK. This is the name of your server. Now next part I am going to explain the server type. SQL Server comes with the MSBI, that's a Microsoft Business Intelligence. So in this one, what happened, there are different services we have. That's a SQL Server Analysis Services, SQL Server Reporting Services, SQL Server Integration Services. All these MSBI tool need to be deployed on the server, right? So when we deploy those package or those RDL or the cube on the server, that time we need to have a system those can understand those data. If I am deploying the cube SSAS cube on the server, I need to use the engine type as analysis services. If I am deploying RDLs, if I am deploying reports on the reporting server, then I need to use reporting services so that they can understand the data. If I want to deploy the integration, that is a services, that's a packages on the server, then I need to use the integration services. These are the different engines, I can say, which are responsible for understanding their format. Now I am accessing only the two-dimensional data, so I just need to use the database engine here, and then I need to select the server name, then authentication type. There are two kind of authentication type we can see here. The first authentication type is a Windows authentication. If I select Windows authentication, what will it do? So Windows authentication doesn't require the username and password. It will take the user ID and password from the user directory, and it will log into the SQL Server engine. But if I want to specify a specific user ID and password, then I only need to use the SQL Server authentication, and then need to pass the login and the password. Then I need to click on the connect. So why this is important? Sometimes we work remotely on a remote system, so that time it's required that we need to pass the user ID and password. That time we can't use the system user ID and password, so it's very important to have it. So just click on. So this is the pop-up window, and this is very important to know. So just click on connect. So when we'll click on the connect, we'll connect to the server. So you will see here the play symbol. This is your server name. Inside the server you will see different things. We'll talk about that in the next video, but now you can see this is desktop QDGV7. This is my SQL server. Okay, so we have completed first part, how to open SSMS, then connect to connection window we have just discussed, then the authentication type, server name, right? Next part is new window. So here is the option called as a new window. If I want to write any query in a SSMS, I want to work on the query, then I need to have a editor, and that editor I can open through the new query window. So there I need to write the code, I need to execute it, right? So this is just to show you how to open the new query window. You can also press Ctrl+N, that will also open the new query window. Next part is session ID. So now in this one I am seeing the 56 as a number. Again, if I am opening a new query window, I am seeing the 53. So if you will observe it carefully, that 56 and 53 are changed. What is it for? Because I have just only two window open here, and the number should be 1 or 2, but why it is 56 or 53? These numbers are called as the session ID. Whenever I open any new window, or whenever I do request to the SQL server, then the new sessions will be created for that particular user, right? So in this one, this is the one session, this is another session. Okay, just try to understand. This is my one session. One query window is equal to one session, another query window is equal to second session. So these are the two sessions I have just created with the SQL server. So 53 is my session ID, and this is 56. So this is the basic difference. Next is how to know the server version. We sometimes it's required to know the versions of a SQL server. So we can get to know the version of a SQL server by just querying the variable @version. This is the global variable. Just run this query, we'll see the versions of a SQL server. I'm seeing SQL Server 2012 has been installed, and which is the Enterprise Edition. Here you can see core base, and this is the 11 point is compatibility level. Like this I can see the version. Then next is we'll talk about the more advanced concept. Now if I'll expand it, I will see a few important folders here. The first one is databases, security, server object, replication, always on, management and integration service, and the SQL Server agent. So databases, here we can create databases. Security are related to the security, where we can add users, logins, right? So here we see the different SQL Server level object. Like for example, if I want to create the link server means what? The server which is another server, but I want to link it as a one. So I can go through the link server, then DDL triggers, then backup devices. Endpoints are just port numbers. Replication, sometimes we want to replicate one table to another server or the database, then we need to go for replication. Always on, high availability. This is one kind of high availability feature which was added after 2012, and which is very good. Here we will have some primary, secondary, replica, and this is just for the high availability feature. Then management, here we'll see some management thing like maintenance plan. We can create some backup recover plan. Then logs also, where we can see some data collection. This is the management part. Next is the SQL Server agent. Here we can create a job which run automatically at a scheduled interval. So this is the section all about. Next section we'll talk about databases. So in databases section we will have two kind of databases. One is the system database, and another is called as the user defined database. Right? So system database are the databases which are predefined, which are system defined databases, and user defined are the databases which we can create for our purpose. So there are totally 5 kind of system databases: master, model, MSDB, TempDB, and one is the hidden databases which is called as a resource database. We'll talk about each one of them. So master database is a database which is responsible for having the configuration things which are required to start a SQL server. Then model database is a template database which store the template for the newly created databases. MSDB is a new data. MSDB is a databases which are having the data like jobs history, jobs related scheduler information, then service broker and other part. We have this MSDB. Next is TempDB. TempDB is a database where all the temporary calculation, all the temporary objects are created, temporary related processing happen in TempDB. Next is ResourceDB. ResourceDB is a hidden databases. Basically, it's physically stored the sys object tables, and that tables will logically present in all the databases. So why that table is hidden? Why that database is hidden? Basically, this is hidden just for the upgradation purpose. Sometime if we want to upgrade the databases from one version to another version, so those sys object need to be reflected in all databases. So SQL Server designers system in a such a way that all the sys object which are present in that resource database, it will just copy and it will show to all system databases, right? Sys object basically. You don't need to worry about the resource database, but that is very important databases. This is all about the databases. Now we have covered system databases, and user defined database we'll talk about in the next video series. Hope you like our video regarding the introduction of SQL Server, how to connect, what are the different ways we can connect, what are the different services we have, and what are the different system databases, what are the user databases we have. I hope you like the video, and thanks for watching, and have a great day.